Welcome back, coworkers.
Yes, welcome back.
Hi, David. How
Hello,
was
how
your
you doing?
day?
Normal Thursday.
Okay.
Happy to be at work.
Long, moderate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So the cocktail that I have crafted today is a cucumber gin drink.
Okay.
So I just have cucumber slices, gin, simple syrup, and fresh lime. So let's see. I use huge ice cubes this time.
Oh.
Oh, you first? Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's an order. I'm just playing. Okay, that's good. Okay, I gotta drive home.
I mean, it's a lot in here. Oh, maybe not.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Okay. There we go.
So yes, this is our cocktail.
Okay, so what's in there again for our listeners? Tell us what's in there.
This is a cucumber,
Okay.
simple syrup,
Simple syrup.
fresh lime,
Mm-hmm.
and green hat gin, which is the local gin right here
Okay.
in the district. So Washington D.C.
Okay. Are we gonna cheers to it?
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers.
Let's see how it tastes.
You first, because I made it. So
It's strong.
it's
But-
good.
I mean, it's good. Yeah, but yeah, it's
I like strong.
It's strong. Strong is good. Somebody said strong is good.
good.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get into these topics. We got some good topics we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some West Coast and East Coast differences.
And differences in what?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the differences in workplace. We're going to talk about maybe get into some relationships, just starting from the commute into the office.
Okay.
As you guys know, I'm from California. Only been here working on the East Coast probably since last December. So for most of my
quite
life.
a year. You coming up on your anniversary?
Correct. Yeah, and I have had to learn very quickly the pace and the differences.
The East Coast pace.
The East Coast pace. Right, and so one of the things I want to talk about is just the difference. There's the difference in politeness.
Yes, there is.
There's a difference in hustle.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a difference in hostility.
Oh.
And like you said, a difference in the pace.
East Coast. East Coast.
Yes. So even just like politeness. So I barely started, like I said, working in the D.C. area. And before I made my stop in D.C., I made a short stop in Baltimore. And just immediately off the bat, going into a new organization, a new company, we know that they have to train you.
Yeah.
And, I was just used to the way the supervisor or the trainer talks to new employees.
Right. Such
So
as
if we're in the West Coast, I was in San Diego, LA area, or whatever. It's just we were talking with just a little bit more, not as blunt,
Okay.
a little more seasoning, a little more, just not as strong. So let me give you an example. So let's say
give me an
you're
example.
doing a training, you teach someone like an application on the computer, and they say, okay, first turn this page, and as you can see in the right corner, it says click here, and you do that. So that's
Okay.
what I'm used to. I'm used to nice little conversation, organized
trainings.
training, make sure everybody's following along.
Okay.
I remember being in my first East Coast training,
Mm-hmm.
and my boy Kevin was doing the training, but the way he was talking to the new employees, such as myself, was like, okay, you need to do this. If you don't do this, then that means you're not listening to me and you're stupid.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it's like just
Well,
right
that's
off the
aggressive.
Yeah, just right off the back, I'm like, this is how we talk to people. And I just saw it just across the board, just the way we treat the employees.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been working like even probably in southern states or something. It could be like just different treatment.
I have not worked on any other coasts now that I think
Okay.
about it.
So then let me ask you this question. Why on the East Coast, why is the hustle difference? Why is the pace so fast?
That's a good question. Maybe I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I was trying to think maybe it's just people grinding, but everybody's grinding if they're going to work.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same with the South. When they say, "Oh, the South is slow. No one moves as fast, or they don't have any. They're not in a rush." So,
I mean, because
why do they say the South is slow?
All right. Okay. So what I know. So let's say even just starting off in the car,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're in the car.
Yeah.
You're in DC.
Okay.
As soon as the light turns green,
Oh, someone's honking.
somebody's
at you.
honking at you. It's like you
They
can't
have
even.
places to go. Maybe because of the commute.
Like it takes
Maybe
like
commute times.
a second to transition from
Okay,
the
so
brake to the accelerator.
I thought about it.
Okay.
Maybe it has something to do with the commute.
Okay.
I mean, because people come from.
Okay,
like,
so you're
there's
saying they're anxious?
surrounding cities and states,
Okay.
rather,
Okay.
where people come to DC to work. So maybe
They're
it has something
annoyed
to do with
because
the commute.
they're being
How
on the road so long,
Yeah,
so they don't have time. But it's like, I mean, it's just
yeah. Maybe
it's
that's what
ridiculous.
it is.
Then
I don't know.
not let alone
That's
DC.
my answer. That's all I got.
You guys don't take care of the streets. There's potholes.
Oh yeah, the potholes
Me.
is a problem.
I mean,
It's a big problem.
you could build kiddie pools in some of these
No.
potholes. I mean, it's like
Water
so,
parks and
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's so deep. I mean, it's poor, guys.
Okay.
So then I had to learn because I started riding the
So
public
every
transportation.
street in California is just amazing.
I mean, I'm not saying it's well compared to DC and Baltimore. It's
No,
Yeah, there's
city
a
streets are
difference.
usually have the worst rep.
right. And
Yeah.
I guess one thing that I guess have to consider is the weather.
Yes, the weather condition. That's what I was going to. I
Okay.
definitely was
Okay.
going to remind you of that because we have 4 seasons here.
Okay, true.
West Coast don't necessarily have
Yeah,
4 seasons.
we got like 1.5.
Yeah, we have rain, snow,
Yeah,
summer,
right.
humidity. Like so much goes on.
So do you feel like the people here are polite?
More polite than New York, yes.
Okay. Okay. So you answered the question.
Less
okay.
polite than South, yes.
Okay.
And so it depends on what we're comparing.
Okay. So I had to learn something the hard way. So
Wh-
public transportation.
Well, uh-oh.
So we're gonna get into that. So
Yes, tell me more.
because it's part of the pace, it's part of the hustle,
Yeah, and I'm eager to hear your experience.
and it's part of politeness too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a West Coast guy, and not that West Coast guys. We're not like have that Southern hospitality or anything like that, or we're just super nice.
Right.
But there still is like we're just a little more laid back, and there is like just an even pace or even kill to us.
So I've never lived on the West Coast,
Okay.
but I would assume that their hustle is just as grand as DC's hustle. No? Not as much as New York, but maybe DC.
It is, but I think there's some rules that are in DC that do not apply, or we just don't do.
What are those? Like what?
Okay, this is just a simple one.
Okay.
Riding on the Escalade. Okay.
What about the escalators?
Okay, so if you're
I'm a little afraid
in
to hear
public,
your answer now.
if you're in public transportation,
Mm-hmm.
and I found this out the hard way, and this is from my brothers and sisters who come out from the from the West Coast and you're visiting on the East Coast, if you are riding on the Escalade, you must stand off to the right. If you do not stand off to the right,
But David,
people wanna
those
get
are
by
rules
in
of
the
the
left lane.
road too.
But that's
Like,
I never
this is
never
not
seen that.
something hard to comprehend. Like that's the rules of the road as well.
But it seemed like, I guess in California, it seems like nobody's in a rush where we have to run up the Escalade, we have to run down the Escalade.
Well, it's not
and
that
get
you're
off.
in a rush. It's just that there may be passing people,
Yeah.
maybe passing pedestrians that just need to get to some place quicker than you, or whatever the case may be. But
I mean, there's
that's the same as the road. Like when someone wants to pass you, they pass you on the left.
no right.
Right?
I do understand that, but like I said,
Or-
there's
right.
just not
Right.
that type of function going out on the West Coast. If you're at the mall or anywhere, like I said, there's not really no subways and stuff like that. But there is
Okay.
a Metro Link, and but I can't say that it's connected to an Escalade. But just being on an Escalade in a public place,
Okay.
you can stand wherever you want on the Escalade.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
you mean not to the left or the right?
Yeah, you can stand on the left side
So
of the
people
escalator.
should
or-
weave in and out people if they're on the left.
well,
and
there's
the
nobody
right.
trying to pass you on the escalator. Now, I guess maybe that's what it is. It's
And-
like I'm not used to being
Are
on the
you-
escalator and somebody's trying to pass me.
So are you talking? So okay, let's think about the
Okay.
setting here. Are you in particular describing commutes, or are you talking about in a mall or someplace where it's no rush? You know
Both,
what I mean?
but even both, because I've seen it in both. But particularly even just the commute is just the rush. We don't have consideration for anyone that's in our way
Okay.
in
Okay,
terms
got
of
it.
the East Coast.
So everyone over there is not in a rush to get to work.
Yeah, we're in a rush to get to work. We may run some red lights, but we're not in a rush where we gonna come up on somebody on the escalator and say, "Hey, move out the way."
Oh.
You know, I'm trying to get through.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not that big of a rush.
Oh yeah. That happens here quite often.
Yeah, so there's
Or they'll give you the death stare if you're on the wrong
Right,
side. They'll be
yeah.
like,
yeah, and like yes, I think earlier this week I saw two things. I saw like a guy and a kid on the escalator, and the kid was off to the left, and the guy had to pull his daughter off
to the right.
to
or
the
in
right,
front of him,
yeah,
rather.
to get out of the way.
Mhm.
But then another thing, I saw a person and their dog, and the dog was on the left, but nobody told the dog to move, like,
To move.
and it wasn't like a service dog. Nothing like
I was
it
gonna
was
say,
just
was it probably a service dog? 'Cause
yeah.
typically they will not say nothing to a person who has a service dog or
Right.
is blind or disabled
Right.
because, and usually they take the escalators.
Right.
I mean the elevator.
Elevators.
Elevator.
Right. Okay. No, yeah. So this dog was on the escalator, and of course, you know, people they treat dogs sometimes better than humans, so they didn't tell the dog or the
They
dog
did.
owner to move. Right. So yeah. So moving.
Yes.
Moving along.
Yes.
But like.
Well, okay,
go ahead.
You're talking about the commute as in a person who's new to it. Me taking public transportation, I'm sick of you guys manspreading. Okay.
Okay. What does that mean?
Manspreading means men on the commute or the
Okay.
train or
Okay.
any bus, train, or whatever the transportation device is.
Mhm.
And you are spreading your legs so far apart that you leave us this amount of space to sit because you all think that your legs need to be that far apart.
The legs do
That
need to be that far
drives
apart.
me crazy.
We have instruments in the middle of our of our legs, and we have instruments in the middle of the legs,
Listen.
and we cannot push. I mean, you're asking a guy to pass out if you squish one of those
If
instruments.
you are on public transportation,
Yeah.
you have to be cognizant and also understand that there are other people around who want to sit down next to you or next to an available seat that want to be just as comfortable too.
But it's like this. It's like when you get on the airplane, and let's say you're Southwest, so it's first come, first serve.
You can't go as far as that.
But you're sizing up who you're gonna sit next to, right? Aren't you? When you get on a plane, aren't you sizing up who you're gonna sit next to?
I'm hoping that I don't sit next to someone who doesn't take up majority of the space. Yes, however, I don't get to choose because it's pre-assigned seats. Unless I choose
Okay, no,
my
let's
seat
say
prior
Southwest.
to
We're talking about
boarding.
Southwest, where it's boarding groups,
Okay.
but it's not pre-assigned seats.
Right, okay.
So you jump on, and when you're walking down the aisle, it's like you look and you're sizing people up, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing on the train. You have to size people up who you're gonna sit next to.
But the thing is, with the plane, we just can't decide where we're going to sit on the plane throughout the duration of the travel. You can on metro or on the bus. I can change as soon as I see someone get up. I can go next and sit next to a woman or another person who's not the same size or something.
But your issue is you feel like, man, we are just got
You're
our
not
legs
considerate at all.
I mean, I think
And
you have to take into consideration. I think
No,
you
I
guys
don't
have
agree.
taken-
I don't agree. I think the
Which one? A tuck rule? You want them to tuck it?
No, just I'm not asking you to be like
Okay.
like bunched
Okay.
up like this,
Gotcha.
right? I'm not asking you to be like that,
Mhm.
like have your legs like that. But what I'm asking is that you're considerate of the person next to you. Like if you know that your leg is crossing so much of the other seat, maybe find an end seat so that you can turn around to the outside.
Okay.
Like don't sit in the inside of the seat.
I give you that.
You know, be considerate that there's other people that may want to sit down.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Or stand up and let the woman sit. That's
Okay,
it.
let me ask you this. Why don't men on the East Coast open up doors for women on walking into work? Or why don't men give up their seat to women on the train?
Some of them do, but not many.
Okay.
Not many.
Yeah, not many.
No, I do. No, so this is my idea of it because I've seen
Okay.
ruthless guys on commutes, like on
it is.
trains and stuff.
Yeah, I have seen
They
that.
will not. They don't care. They'll get in before you. Like if they don't want to miss the train. They will bump guard. Like whoop, they will go quickly. So I don't know why exactly, but when I see guys that do that, I'll like say like something really snarky, like, "Oh, ladies first."
Okay,
to let them know that,
okay,
oh, okay, you're going ahead of me, and you should not be.
So you get on the train, and some people prefer to stand. I understand that because if you're doing just 2 stops, you're gonna just stand up.
That's happened to me.
But is it often that a guy, let's say you're gonna do 10 stops, is it often that a guy offers a seat up to you?
I think they look at the age.
Okay.
And if this is like a pregnant woman versus like a mother with children, or I think it depends, or a dad with the child. I think people just look and someone that look like they have a disability, a known disability.
Yeah, but to me, and like I said, I'm not that old fashioned, but to me that's just weird.
Yeah.
That
it happens though. They don't care.
You know,
if you look young, they're definitely not getting up.
No, they're not.
They're not getting up for you at all.
Right. And I think some women, they don't accept the invitation because I think I asked somebody to sit down. They say, "Oh no, I'm okay." And sometimes I don't know if they say they're okay.
Okay, so I don't think so. I don't think you should take offense to that because there's many times where I'm offered to sit down and I decline.
Okay.
And it's because I feel like at work I've been sitting down for a long period of time. I'm okay with standing for my short period of time. Like if I only have to go 3-4 stops, I'm okay with standing.
Okay. Well,
so don't necessarily take offense to.
Well, I'm just gonna be me. And
no, you should continue to be
absolutely,
you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna open
the doors. Because there are men like that on Metro that let women go first and offer their seats to them. You know, that's not just look old or elderly or they have kids or pregnant. Like that.
Yeah, I do think that there still need to be some training,
some rules,
etiquette coming out.
I agree.
On the East Coast.
No, I agree.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next topic. So the next topics, this is interesting. So we're talking about competition in the workplace, but then also competing and your dating life. And when I say that, I'm gonna break that down a little bit more.
Please.
But it's like when you're at work, because sometimes you're in competition at work. Because you're in competition about doing your work, being more efficient, being an employee of the month, week, or what the case may be, working towards a bonus. So there's a competition. So competition may not be direct competition between you and your coworker, but it could be a quantitative or a qualitative measurement that's going on between like some type of metrics that's set up within your job. So what do you do to separate yourself from the competition, from your colleague? I'm your colleague, even though we can share information and you're my work wife and you share.
Be clear, I don't compete with people typically. Okay. So I don't have to separate myself from the competition.
But do you? Okay.
I don't, because I don't compete. I don't go into an environment and compete with a person or get to know people on the basis of solely wanting to compete with them or making myself feel like, oh, they know this, I know this, or they don't know that, I know that. You know, like I don't sum up my opponent that way.
Right. But do you feel that in the work environment that there are people, other coworkers, colleagues that are competing with you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
it seems to be like it happens. It's like a normalcy of work environments that they look and see, ask you questions. What do you know? How long have you been doing that? To get to know what you know, to see how then much or what job you may have, or how much you may be liked or disliked, or who would like your knowledge or anything that's closely related to anyone else in the office.
Okay. Have you ever been competing for a job and you're in the lobby?
You already started wrong. No, I'm not competing for no job.
No. Okay. Let me set it up because you may say yes. You go for an interview for a job, and there's other people interviewing for the job. So therefore, you are competing for a job.
Oh, and that have I seen?
So is there anything that you have done to kind of set yourself apart from maybe what you saw in the person that went in the interview before you?
No.
Okay.
Even if it was like I've been in a group meeting. I mean, a group interview.
Group interviews.
Where they brought all the same people who were applying for the same job.
Right. Okay.
And we were sitting on one side of the table, and they were interviewing us. Whatever the organization was interviewing us on the other side of the table, and I was just myself.
Okay.
Because I already came prepared to ask them the questions that I wanted to ask them. I think I stood out just by being myself because that's just who I think I'm going to stand out.
Okay. So then at work,
than any candidate.
is there? Okay, that's good confidence. So is
Thank you.
okay. I'm not saying that condescending either. I'm
okay.
saying, so at work, in your work environment, do you just say you're just going to be you, or is there certain things? Let's say the supervisor says, "Hey, I need this breakdown of this contract in an outline from all you guys." Do you have like any like a competition gene that's in you that kicks in and say, "Hey, I'm going to try to present the best"?
I don't think so maybe is that a
saying,
competition gene?
You're
no, because you're saying
that's
a competition gene.
I mean,
I just think that's innately how someone is. Like if you're a competitive person, I don't necessarily think that means you're going to compete with people. I think sometimes it's going to mean you compete with yourself.
Okay.
So you may just want to try out something different to challenge yourself. And that's the type of person I am. If someone asks me for something like that, and I may ask a few more questions following, like, oh, what is this for in particular exactly, or what's the, ask a few questions to see how far I should go and not take it too far, maybe like.
Okay.
So you're saying like if they wanted to outline for who, which people, like, board of directors, something like that to decide how professional or how fun it should be.
Right.
So if it was for like a training or something, then I'd be like, okay, well maybe I should make this a little bit more fun and entertaining. You see what I mean?
Okay. So you don't approach work as a competition with your coworkers. I understand. I do that either.
Right.
I just play my game and I play within myself.
Right.
But you do agree that there are environments, because there are competitive environments, especially if you're selling some type of merchandise or things like that.
Yeah.
And there's a commission involved and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand. But for you really don't approach work in the sense that, hey, I'm competing with my coworkers.
No.
Okay.
I don't feel like I have to.
Okay.
Meaning because like I feel like I'm always going to allow myself to be abreast of current things.
Okay.
And be willing to hear everyone's perspective. So I'm willing to have conversations with my coworkers regardless and still learn something from them. Okay, not necessarily taking what they told me and using it against them.
Okay, so that makes me break off to another question where about sharing knowledge.
Okay. Well, you tell me. What are your perspective of competition in the environment and how much knowledge do you share with your peers?
Yeah, well, the way I approach it, I think that we're a team. I approach it, hey, if the company's doing good, we're doing good. Of course, credit sometimes is given to the wrong people, and some people are just chase credit.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Yeah,
but I believe if you treat others good, it's going to come back to you. Whether you're sowing the seed and they do wrong by the information or do wrong by you, I believe you just be you.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example. So like. Today, I noticed that with our coworker today, we were working around the table.
Yes.
Because I remember being in a group meeting that you weren't.
So you and I were both a part of.
Yeah. So then they were talking about, how to get certain items off the internet. I think it was images and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And the meeting that we had last Friday.
I was not. I wish I was not a part of.
You're not part of. I was telling them, hey, there's a ways to do it. But then I knew that, but they just couldn't figure that out.
Right.
But however, you came to work and you shared that information and you made her be successful.
Yeah.
So that's a good trait. But there's people, there's coworkers out there like, hey, if I know this information, I'm going to harvest this information for myself.
Oh, and keep it from you. It's leverage, though.
Right. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Because I'm competing with you. So if I can show them that, hey, I can grab what you need to be successful for this
I'll
proposal.
look like I'm the person that knows. Right. I never thought of it that way.
Right. I mean, but for our coworkers out there,
that's too much of a game for me.
Yeah, it is a game.
You got to pick and choose what exactly it is to me, and something that's minor or moot is like I'm not doing that.
So, are you willing to share everything? Let's say you.
No, I'm not. So everything that I share, comes in a small package.
Okay.
So everything that I share isn't the full picture. It's not the full description. It's not the full anything.
Right, because pretty soon they're going to be eating off of you.
Exactly. Okay. And I don't want that. And I don't even want you to depend on me. I don't want to be necessarily the head person that's always the go-to.
Right.
So I always make sure that it's always just a percentage of what I know.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're smart enough, you'll recognize that I know more and only giving you a little bit.
Right.
But not many people pick up on that because then I'll just play dumb.
Okay, so now
I play dumb more in my environment than I do.
I'm gonna dab a little deeper in this.
Uh-oh.
Okay, how about for your work spouse? Would you withhold anything to make me successful, or would you kind of
to help you?
Right. Okay. Okay. Let me give you.
Like,
let me give you an example. You said, let's say the person you showed today, you gave her 50% of your toolbox.
Not even 50, but
so let's say you gave her 25% of your toolbox.
Yes.
Do your work spouse have access to 100% of your toolbox?
Well, I put my work spouse on a different pedestal.
Okay.
So ultimately, we're having these conversations together.
Right.
Like, so we're kind of equally yoked, as they say.
There we go.
So we already have those conversations.
I'm just making sure. All right. So I'm making sure for the audience because we have work spouses watching us, and you should be equally yoked, sharing 100% of the information to be successful in that company.
But now, listen though, when you're not 100, I come in and help you out.
Right.
Because you may be having one of those off days.
Right.
And I may come in and help you out and say, here it is, right here. Here, all you got to do, here's a sample.
Right.
And then when I'm having one of those off days, I hope that you pick up the same, slack.
Right. Okay, so let me give you an example also, because you weren't invited to the meeting because it was different groups on last Friday. But I do owe you the notes.
You do,
and that's what.
But you never gave me the notes,
right? I will. Okay,
so you're not doing your part.
I remember now.
So we're not equally yoked.
No, I'm gonna
divorce you soon if I'm your new work spouse.
I'm packaging it up real good.
Okay.
For you. But that's as work spouses. That's kind of part of the description.
Yeah.
Where you don't withhold information that's gonna make your partner fail.
Okay, but what if you... So now I have a question. What if your work spouse withheld information of your job? Like, what if they knew that you were getting wrote up or if you were getting... Because that's a hard thing to tell your... That's like that's a devastating thing to say. Oh, they're going to fire you soon. They're going to let you go.
You have to tell it because part of being the work spouse, a lot of it is based on trust.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if I knew that your head was going to be served on a platter,
you're going to tell them?
I have to let you know.
That's good to know. So I actually have had situations where I've been in work environments where I thought not necessarily my spouse, but like work sister or work friend, and they didn't tell me this. And I immediately cut them off.
I would, yeah.
Immediately. I was like, I'm done with you.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a covenant.
And they even try to reach out to me, and I was just like, I'm done with you. Right. Like, I am done with you.
It's part of the work spouse vows.
It's like the unwritten rule.
Yeah.
Like I hate unwritten rules, but it's like unwritten rule. Like, why would you think you should contact me? What do we have to discuss now? You show me that you're not trustworthy. Why would I have you around for anything else?
Yeah. Okay.
My job is important, to my lifestyle. So why would I have you around for anything else?
Yeah, at the end of the day, sharing is caring.
Yeah, but especially if you have a bond with a person. Now, I don't expect an average Joe Blow to talk to someone that they don't have any connection with in the office.
Right, no.
So.
No, I don't care. I can't.
You don't care about that person, yeah. You don't care to share that information.
No.
No. It's just news at that point. Right. Office drama news. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm staying with the same topic. So...
Yeah, let's
separating yourself from the competition. So let's take it to the streets. So
let's take it to the streets.
Dating environment.
Oh, that's streets.
How do you how do you separate yourself from the competition? Because I know you're going to say
I was going to say,
you're still
same
not competing.
answer, David.
You're not competing. So let's say, D'Angela, she likes to
go
to...
No, let's take D'Angela off the chopping block. Let's put David on the chopping block here. How did you do that back in your heydays?
Okay, my heyday before I retired.
Before you retired the game and
got
husband up.
Right. Okay, so I got this story. I got this scenario. So then I wrote in my book. I actually brought my book here. It's called 6 Women, 6 Flavors. It's on Amazon.
Yes.
It's called From Your Head to Your Bed.
Oh.
It's available on Amazon, like I said. So, and I talk about this in my chapter called The Deal That I Couldn't Close. However, I was able to close partial of the deal. So when I say partial of the deal, when you meet someone, the objective is, to get their contact information and be able to continue on the conversation.
Okay.
So sometimes you're in a public environment and it is a competition. Let's say if you're at a lounge, and there's nice looking women and guys and things like that. You're mingling, and you are competing because like, how can I make an impression on the person that I find the most interest in?
Mm-hmm.
So in the book, I talk about this situation where I was in San Diego, and I remember we were at this lounge in North Park, and I was out with my friends, and we were celebrating like a promotion, something like that.
Okay.
And 2 girls walk into this lounge.
Oh.
And to the point where I know, like, it's almost like the DJ just stopped the music. It was like one of those moments. Like, these 2 girls came, and
she was just like, it was like a halo.
Yeah,
like everyone else in the room was silent, and it just saw her only.
Right, and I think
blocked them out.
Right, and I think like after a certain time,
this
like,
is love at first sight, practically.
This club, they charge for, entry, but I'm sure these girls got it for free. They had to because they were just like top notch.
Okay.
Off the top shelf.
Okay.
So the girls come in, and the girl that I had interest in, so she's making her way around. Sometimes you do like a lap.
Okay.
I like to do a lap when I go inside. so you do your little lap and check out who's in there. And
your lap.
Check out the exits and things like that. So I see this girl, and the guys are gravitating to her.
Oh, so she's kind of like on the most wanted list.
Absolutely. Left and right, her and her friends. Like they have 2 different looks, and one's tall and one's regular height, and they just look like models. So the guys are gravitating to them left and right, buying the drinks. I'm like, so now it's like, oh shoot, I want to get in the mix, but the competition is crazy. So now it's like, how do you separate yourself from the competition?
Tell us how. So how did you separate yourself from all that competition?
Well, I'm a schemer, so that's
noted. I'm going to make sure I put that a part of my notes.
Yeah, scheming is my thing. Not in a negative way, but kind of mischievous in a way.
Oh, mischievous, gotcha.
So
a little mischievous can go a long way.
Yeah, man, I try to be clever. With it. So I see the guys, just gravitating her. So what I did, I created a situation where I made it seem like I wasn't into her like everybody else was.
Oh, so you showed her the least amount of attention that she was getting from everyone else.
Yeah. So the club, the lounge was crowded.
Why would you think she would notice you?
Well, let me tell you the story, right? Okay. Then, because that's a good question, right? So, if I'm not giving her attention, how is she gonna notice me?
If you don't think you're interested,
I would have to run into her to let her know that I'm not interested. Yeah. So what happened was I saw her walking through the club, like maybe making her way to the bathroom or something like that, or to the dance floor, and I strategically got in front of her.
Oh.
So I got in front of her. Then all of a sudden, I turned around, like aggressive. Hey, did you just grab my butt? And she looked at me, and she said and she had an accent, and that's when I picked up. She had an accent. She said, "No, I didn't touch you. You tripping?" I said, "No, you grabbed my butt."
Oh, so you made a scene?
Yeah, I made a scene. I said, "No, you grabbed my butt," and she's like,
"There's
no.
that mischief."
She's like, "Yeah." So she's like, "No." I said, "Whatever." So I walked away, and I made it to the point where I couldn't stand that she violated me. So like I just kind of.
Oh, so you just made like a big deal, like I can't believe you actually grabbed my butt, like you're actually making a scene.
And I'm keeping a serious face like that, like this is not funny, like this is before the Me Too movement, but I'm like this is not funny. So
what?
Right. So I see her again in the club, and this time when I see her, we lock eyes, and I turn around. I said, "Oh," and I think I said, "Stay away from me." And let her know that.
Oh, now you're really taking this.
So I'm actually like in an acting scene. I'm like putting on
it's
the
like
front.
you're really going like full speed ahead, like, so speed ahead.
Like, stay away from me. So then, what it made her do? Try to explain herself. Like, no,
like it wasn't me. Yeah, because you're now you're lying. I'm lying. You're being totally dishonest.
But I'm making it seem like I can't stand her and that she went too far. So therefore, now.
This is clever.
It's clever because
But it's like so much like, okay, how far is this going to go?
Like she kind of wants to clear a name now because like everybody in the club is adoring her, but one person.
Because you made her feel like she did something
right,
she didn't
and not
do.
that she was too concerned.
You gave a whole made up situation that she didn't do. So
right, I mean not like she was too concerned, but concerned enough where she wanted to try to clear her name. So finally I saw her at the bar by herself, and I was like, hey, I want to give you a chance to make up to me.
This is
I said, just give me your number.
So just this far, you've made her believe that she did something she did not do, and now you want her to make up for something she did not do.
Yeah. So I said, I'm gonna give you a chance to make up.
Relationships, right here.
Right.
This is what the whole bracket of relationships.
Correct. Yeah. I'm gonna give you a chance to make it up to me. Give me your number. We're gonna go out. You're gonna pay for it. And
you made her
right. I just
you're
put her.
Telling her now that she has to take you out to make up for. So now you're giving her your boundaries and how to apologize to you.
Yes. Right. So then it made her respond. So she thought I was full of crap. So she's like, no, I didn't do it. And not like I was harassing her, but she's like, no, I didn't do it.
Okay.
So then I said, well, anyways, I want your number anyways.
Okay.
Then she goes into this. So we're going back and forth. And it's kind of like a little negotiation. Mm-hmm. So then finally, she said, well, I take your number. So when guys know this is in the book. When girls say that they would take your number, that means they're not that interested and they're probably not going to call. And I knew that. I knew that as a seasoned vet. I'm like, oh, she said she's
seasoned vet.
as a seasoned vet with 3 stripes.
Okay.
I knew that she wasn't gonna call. So I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't make a good enough impression.
No. Okay.
So what happened was
your idea is to take her number.
That's the goal.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, the goal is to take her number, or else if she says, having you said, hey, I take your number instead. What does that mean for you? Are you really gonna call?
I may or may not.
All right. But if he has your number, he has access, and he can call.
I know he can just call me when he wants, and I can just
So
try to get out of that situation.
So I'm walking out of the club, but I'm just not satisfied with the results.
Okay.
So I go back to her, and I said, hey, I know you got my number and things like that, but how are you gonna know what David it is? I said, I saw you putting my name in, and you had lots of Davids.
Oh my God.
I said, David.
This is so assertive.
Yeah, David is a common name.
It is. That's true.
I said, so how are you going to know which one it is? She said, oh, that's a good point. I said, well, because this is the David that kissed you. And I kissed her right there.
Oh, that was bold.
And I walked out, so quick before she can, actually have a response. But that move right there is separating yourself from the competition.
I don't know if that's separating yourself. That seems really risky.
It is risky. And
it's risky. So did you kiss her on the lips or on the cheek or on the forehead, the nose, or just grab her face and
Good question. It was right here, close enough.
Because she jerked back so quickly, not recognizing that you were going to go in.
I think it happened
to do
so quick,
so crazy.
She couldn't do no response.
Oh my
gosh. But the outcome was she texted me that night before I made it to the car. She's like, "That was slick. That was smooth."
She appreciated
you get points for that. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's things that you have to do to separate from the competition.
Well, how was she the deal that you didn't close then? Because that seems like you closed that deal.
I closed the deal
because you got the number,
getting to go out on dates.
Yeah,
but there's
her to communicate with you. Right.
There's some other things that I just didn't explore the full relationship like I wanted to. So that would be.
Oh, you mean beyond that?
Yeah.
It didn't really go into something more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why the chapter is the deal I can close. Right.
I wouldn't necessarily think that's a deal you didn't close because I feel like this person walked into this lounge with all these people around them, and you were the only person that was able to actually spend quality time outside of,
correct,
hovering over them.
That's true.
Or doting on them like everyone else.
Yeah, no, it's a semi-success story.
Yeah, semi. Yeah.
So has any guy ever did anything drastic to you to get your attention?
I don't know if it was that drastic. That's committed. You were committed.
Okay. Has anybody done anything? Have you been in a situation where there was guys in the room? Because D'Angela, I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
I mean, I haven't. They haven't done anything drastic to that extent, but they have try to get in front of me in line because the line was too long. Okay. So they made propositions with me.
Okay, give me that story.
So I was out at an event, and the way the lines were set up to get drinks, was that the place was not accepting cash. So they took drink tickets.
Okay.
So in order to get a drink ticket, you had to stand in a long line to pay a cashier for these like little vouchers, like these little small voucher tickets to get drinks. So these group of guys noticed myself and my friends, and they came over and propositioned us to get in front of us if they would pay for a drink ticket for us.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if they were interested beyond just getting a drink ticket. Like, I don't think they were interested in like actually getting to know one of us or getting to know me or one of my other friends. So I think that was just maybe something that was, and that's just recently. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, like someone I actually dated or something.
So do you consider that kind of bold in a way?
I mean, for this area, no.
Okay.
I think that happens frequently.
So tell me about this area. So do guys approach girls in this area?
Sometimes. So I think it's usually either the older guy. Mm-hmm. I think it's dependent upon age.
Okay.
I don't think too many young guys feel like they have to. Because women, like how you said this one woman walked into this lounge.
Right.
I feel like women will flock to guys like that because there's so many more women than the men in the environment.
True.
So they look for the ones who's gravitating towards them.
Right. And I'm going to insert this in there. For guys who are in Texas, guys on the West Coast, guys who are, Northern America, there is lots of working, good-looking women. Successful. Mm-hmm. In District of Columbia.
I agree.
In Maryland and Virginia.
Proud Washingtonian here.
Yeah, there are, I'm married, but I'm not blind.
Yes, we know.
But
we know you can see.
Right, I can see.
How many fingers do I have up?
Right, yeah. I can see. And I've got my cousins out there in Arizona, California. Hey, you need to come out here because there's a bunch of, I would say, wife material out here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I just think that because there's such a plethora of women here who are successful, I feel like the guys don't feel the need to say. It's almost like how like supply and demand is. Yeah. It's just like, oh, well, why would I get one woman right now? I can just, whenever I'm ready, I'll just get that one woman later. Because I'm okay with not having one woman because there's multiple available to me.
Right, yeah.
So they don't spend their time or waste their time, with just cultivating a relationship with one woman. They just like, someone else will be there when I'm ready. Because of this environment.
So have you ever been in a situation where you had to compete for a guy's attention? Like, because women sometimes they go into places and they see a guy like,
It was my first and last time.
Oh, why?
Because what happened was I noticed that I was competing for his attention because I found out that he was seeing someone else at the same time he was seeing me. So, and typically this doesn't bother me because I am doing the same thing. Right. But I think it's because I was feeling this guy so much that it just didn't sit well with me.
Okay.
And I was like, wait, there's someone else. And I was like, this can't be. No, I thought I was the only one.
Okay. So is there like a fine line in trying to compete or trying to get the guy's attention and not seem too thirsty? Like, what is the
Well, the thing is, like,
fine line?
I feel like once you mess up the whole dynamics in your own head. So I was fine before when I didn't know that there was someone else. Because I was feeling him. So I was seeing other people too or dating other people too, but no one else was at the top. So I like this person more than the other people the others that I was seeing.
Right.
So then I became like, I was just like more like, oh, if he's not texting me, then he's texting her. Like I was making up these crazy scenarios in my head, and I was like, "You don't know this."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You became a woman. Right?
Yeah, I became a woman. That's not. You're not. That's not normally me. So I was just like, no. And it was like times where I had to talk myself out, and I talked myself into it, like those thoughts. And I was just like, no, girl, you don't know what you're doing. Even I could be somewhere else, not even. It just would just come up. Like, and that's when I realized like the power of your thoughts. Like. You don't have no idea what this person's doing, just like they don't have no idea what you're doing outside of their presence.
So did you win them? Did you conquer?
I did, but then I didn't want him.
So then you became a guy. Right. That's what guys do.
No, it was fun while it lasted, and I think I really enjoyed the chase. Like I really enjoyed like the.
I think everybody enjoys the chase.
Yeah, it was like so like exonerating. Like, oh, well, I guess I was more like excited. Like, oh,
okay.
I don't know, but I mean, I enjoyed that banter back and forth in general. I enjoy like the challenge. I enjoy a little bit of mysterious, mystery in a guy. So I guess that was what kept me cultivating and wanting to know was that they had a little mystery.
Okay.
And I think I found out by default too. It wasn't like he told me outright. Because from that day on, I don't even disclose to any, like, I'm typically not a person that lie, but if a guy asked me if I was seeing another person, I will always tell them no.
Why is that?
Because I just feel like when you tell someone that they have competition, then they'll automatically just step it up and do stuff. I want you to be the same person, not knowing that there's other people around.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
I want you to do exactly because
then therefore,
because you're competing like I did, like
right.
I did.
I like that. Okay, because you're gonna keep them at the pace that they want to be at.
Exactly.
So,
or it's not even the pace. I just want you to show me authentically yourself. I want to be genuine. I don't want you to compete with someone that you don't even know because. Right. I may tell you that, but I may not even like this person more than I like you. But you automatically put in your head that I do.
Right, and guys like to compete, but then there are some guys that are possessive too as well. But there's nothing wrong with healthy competition.
It's not. I love it. I realize I love it. Even if I was ever in a relationship, I would want that back and forth. That doesn't include other people, but amongst each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't have that. Like once they get in a relationship, it's like, oh, I have this person. They don't kind of keep it like interesting anymore. It's just more so like, oh, let's go to the mundane day-to-day things or date night this. Like let's keep it continue to keep it interesting. That's my number one like issue with dating, or I feel like finding a partner is continuing to having that variety.
But if he saw that you were seeing somebody else, has that ever happened? Like where you say, oh no, you're the only one, but then he found out.
Yeah, it has happened.
So then how do you handle that?
I just be like,
well, they just popped up.
It is what it is. Yeah, okay. I just like, hey, I just went out because I'm single. Like I'm not saying like we're not committed and I'm lying. Like I'm single, so I can say anything.
That's true. I mean,
so I don't owe you anything, in my opinion.
I mean,
unless someone came to me and say, hey, I want to be committed to you. That's the only way. Then I would be honest and say, and it wouldn't even be an honest thing that I would tell them about someone else. It'd be like, well, how serious? Well, what does that look like for you? To getting to know like, and then I would determine for myself how I feel about them, and if I want to proceed forward to say I want this exclusive.
Yeah, my school of thought is, okay, we're dating. Yeah, we're single. I'm not gonna ask you about what you're doing when you're not with me. I'm willing to.
I am one woman who does not care to know about what you're doing with the next woman.
Okay,
I've learned that about myself. You should be worried about me. So
yeah,
I just assume that we're both doing the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's. There's one more topic I want to get to before our time runs out. Yeah. I want to talk about some awkwardness because there's awkwardness, when you date, when you meet people, but then there's awkwardness in the workplace, and I think we have seen this. So,
are you talking about first day workplace awkwardness or potluck awkwardness or holiday party awkwardness? There's so many awkwardness that can happen in an office environment.
So I'm going to talk about particularly awkward bosses. I had my set of awkward bosses, and like one thing that I have noticed about awkward bosses that I don't know if I think they do it on purpose, where there's a technique that they use where they come around and they're going from cubicle or office to office, whatever, and they just come and stand by your computer like a awkward, like, hey, how's everything going? And you say, oh, everything's fine, but then they stand there.
How do you handle that further when they do that? What do you do?
Great question. Because we observe this a lot, and this is going to help you guys, America.
Oh, America.
Right. America.
Yeah. David has the answer. This is going to help him.
Because I have seen this where this is the wrong way to do it.
Okay.
The wrong way to do it is, you're at your desk, you're working, and your supervisor comes in. And he says, hey, how's everything going? How's the reports going? How's the project going? And you say, hey, yes, it's going well. Then they say, okay, that's good. Glad to hear that. And they just stand right there. So then what The wrong move is to keep talking.
Okay.
Because you're gonna start saying stuff that you're gonna start building a hole that you don't want to go down.
Okay, so you're gonna make them continue to talk to you when you want them actually to walk away.
You actually want them to walk away.
Okay, got it. That's great.
But what I have seen is oh yeah, things are going great. Then the supervisor stands right there and is just quiet. And they're like, well, actually, we are having a problem. We didn't get to finish that last presentation. Okay. So then you start going into what's wrong and the issues that you're having. Right. Then they start digging deep. Then it's just the conversation just goes totally wrong. Okay. The right thing to do.
The right thing.
Because there's a strategy in supervisors when they come and they just stop and wait.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, but the right thing to do, supervisor comes, hey, how's everything going? How's the report going? You say, oh, it's going fine. It's almost done. They say, oh, okay, that's good to hear. And they say, they look at you, they're quiet, and you just look back. Yep. And you just play the silent game and wait. Go ahead.
So I have a different approach.
Okay, what's your approach?
My approach is, and I've always been told this too, I don't know who told me this, or if I just came up with my own crazy self, little approaches, is to always have a question for them that they cannot answer.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you find that they keep asking you questions, return the favor and ask them questions that they possibly may not be able to answer.
Help us out. Preach to us.
So if it's just like, how's the report going? Oh, well, I noticed that there was a discrepancy in this. Did you notice this? And 9 times they have not looked at it because they're waiting for everyone else to submit it. Yeah. And they're like, oh, no, maybe not.
Right.
So
do you think that it helps them get away and, get away from the desk and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So then these are good things that you can help,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it throws them off course to keep having the conversation with you.
So how about awkwardness on a date? Have you been on a date with someone and it's like,
yes,
the conversation is not compatible? Or like,
yeah, plenty of those.
Right. So then how do you make a clean exit?
I think it depends on the mood that I'm in sometimes. Because I'll just keep asking, again, silly questions or stuff that just like have nothing to do with their personality at this point because I feel like they have none. Okay,
do women run up the tab on first dates? Or do they consider like knowing, hey, this is going to be the only date? Because women know if we're going to do it's going to be date number 2. Do they run up the tab? Or you consider it like, hey, we're only going to see once. You're not going to get a hug. You're probably going to get a handshake.
It depends on you as a person. It depends on how we have this date already. Like, if you are being a butthead to me, I'm running up the tab.
Well, okay, that's fair. No, that's fair. So, but let's say the guy's nice, but he's just not the right one for you. Are you considerate and like, hey, I know in my head that I'm not going to see you again?
It depends on how hungry I am.
Okay, I give you that.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, I give you that. So the takeaways from the show. This is what I want to hear back from our
we
listeners.
have some questions.
We have some questions.
We want to know.
I want to talk about your East Coast experience in terms of the politeness and the hustle and the hospitality and your daily commute.
Okay.
Public transportation. Tell me your stories.
Yes, public.
Tell me the work environment. People who have worked on the East Coast and people who have worked on the West Coast. What's the difference that they have experienced in the workplace? Okay. So then last thing is competition. What have you done to separate yourself
from the competition?
Whether it was dating or whether it was as colleagues or coworkers.
Okay, that's good. So tell us, coworkers.
Right. And remember, you never compete with your spouse. You always share information.
But I just thought we agreed that competing, a little competition is good.
It is good, but with your work spouse, we're got to be equally yoked. So
the same with your spouse.
What you know is what I know.
Yeah.
We just don't share the salaries. But other than that, yeah.
Okay. So, yes, give us your feedback. Till next time, coworkers.
Thank you.